but what happens when it gets so high that it can kill you?
All right, first of all, how many people do you know got a fever and they died from it? And understand something. Hold on a second here. If something that is natural and normal and it were to take one person's life, it's going to hit the news all over the world. So let's make that perfectly clear, because this is where I get a little bit irritated. You don't even know anybody that got a fever and died from it. And if they did, they were old and they had pneumonia 2 or 3 times. And pneumonia is where you're so sick you don't have enough energy to have the fever and get out of it, or when you try to utilize the body's energy to try to stop the fever, the body says, I can't go on anymore, and it shuts down and you leave. Let's make it perfectly clear. When you boil life-threatening in the future, understand something. Let's make this really clear today. When a child gets a fever, they get it instantaneously, goes right up, because they have energy in their cells. The fever could be high, and there's only one rule. One rule. When that child, the main rule is this: if that child has a high fever and it goes high and it doesn't break fairly quick, because anybody notice something? The older you get, the longer it takes for you to get sick. You're not getting sick, you're getting well. There is no sickness. That's not true, Daryl. There's no sickness. So now, this is going to take a few minutes here, because we have to unravel the most important thing that they want to school us on and mix us up with. Is inflammation a sickness? It's an alarm system telling you there's so much infection on an emotional and physical level in your body. Find stories. End of story. You can't have inflammation unless you are eating toxic material. So between terrorizing yourself and eating toxic or material, or drinking it, or smoking it, or calling there's not a drug that's prescribed that's not toxic. So understand this. I'm tired. I'm old. You don't have enough energy to create a fever. A fever is one of God's greatest blessings. So are you going to tell me that if I've got swelling in my body, it's a sickness? Generate the tissue. What would happen if there was no water in the mother's belly for the baby? The baby cannot become healthy or heal or become what it needs to be. Why is there water always where there's healing or creating something? Because that is carrying information. That is carrying nutrition. And it's also, in the case of swelling, it's putting out a fire. Inflammation, inflame. If I've got a fire raging on somewhere, which means a fire means what? Low acidic levels, low acidic pH in those areas of the body. If I've got low acidic levels in those areas of the body, that means I have low oxygen. If I have low oxygen, Dr. Otto Warburg received the Nobel Prize twice for discovering the cause of cancer, which is the greatest inflammation on the planet. And that's where, when the pH drops and becomes acidic, there's no oxygen, there's not enough nutrition, there's constipation of the cell. But the reality is, you think that there's lots of circulation there because it's hot, it's red, it's swelling. No, it's jammed up jelly tight. If I have a dam in a river, take a look behind it. The flow is higher. The backup's higher than on the other end of the dam. So we've got too much congestion, not enough circulation there because of the congestion, and not enough circulation on the other side. So you can believe this or not believe this. But issues in your tissues will always be emotional first, because everything comes down to a frequency. So the reality is this, whether you believe it or not, when a cell becomes depleted by oxygen by 35% or more for 3 days, it becomes carcinogenic, and there is no such thing as carcinogenic, there is no such thing as cancer. We suffocated the cell, and the cell says, I don't want to die. So what does it do? It says, wow, there's a lot of lactic acid around here. So it becomes a cancer cell, and it starts living off lactic acid. And then it starts creating lactic acid, because that's what it's become. Until you can generate enough nutrition, real circulation, and oxygen into that area long enough and strong enough, you'll never change the frequency to change the program. Why do you think Cellsonic can shut down stage 4 inflammation in one term? But why does it come back the next day? It could. Some people it won't. But those people doing a perfect day diet, it's called the 4 pillars. Nutrition, emotional, exercise, and detox. It's doing it right. And understand something, being aggressive, guys, guess what? What? I'm going to do a deep cleanse. I do one every 6 months. And then when I do a deep cleanse, I feel like crap, because I'm letting go all of this waste, okay? Because I feel, well, why are you doing a deep cleanse? Because I feel like crap. Oh, that's really intelligent. That's the way the medical system thinks. Wait until it's broken, wait until it feels like crap, and then we're going to get out the crap. And then you feel like crap through the whole detoxification, because most natural health therapists don't understand a perfect day puts away with all of that forever. If you had a perfect day, you'd never cleanse again. Because I am what I am. I am the jam. So the reality is this. Yeah, I do a detox every 6 months, or I do a detox, or we do this every da-da-da. Why don't you just design one day that loves, honors, and respects yourself? You'll never have a fever again. You know what? I probably 3 times a week. I don't know if you ever noticed me go like this, because I'm running a fever because I'm so intense. So then I go, okay, slow it down, Daryl. Slow it down. Don't burn up, baby. Okay? So then, you go by this. Feel it. Feel your forehead. If it's warmer, I'm starting to bubble a little bit, because I need to just back off and find calm. Not because I'm mad or angry, but does anybody notice that I have a AAA personality? Okay, I don't want to get rid of that. I love it. That's my thing. But here's the deal. When a child has a fever, just know this. 9 out of 10 mothers, as soon as the fever comes, they drug the child or they run it to the emergency. Remember something. My grandmother was the last of the generation. Whenever anybody had a fever, and this was in our whole community. Our whole community, the whole church did this. Fever enema. Fever enema. You do an enema on a child with a fever, and that's just using warm water, tummy love. Today it would be a teaspoon of tummy love. And depending, you know what? Does anybody know that I've been called in to babies that are only like a few days old and are running a terrible fever? And we'll go in with an ear syringe with a little bit of tummy love, warm structured water. Does anybody know that I just did this 6 weeks ago with a 14-year-old baby? Eczema all over its body, running a fever. I was in Ontario. We used an ear syringe. Mummy was going like this, rubbing the belly. Daddy was playing with these little legs, bicycle. I used the ear syringe with the warm structured water and the tummy love. The smell that came out of that little baby almost made me puke. Mommy stinking thinking, God love her. Mommy's diet that was normal for a pregnant woman that would harm a baby. Mommy was constipated, so was baby. I don't care if you believe this or not. When that came out, she took the thermometer and put it in the same place where it came out, and guess what? Fever was gone. That's how fast it'll happen with a baby. You can't injure the baby, you can't do anything wrong with it. Why aren't we just doing a little bit of tummy love and warm water? And then as you get bigger, you're going to use more water, more tummy love. Why aren't we doing that? Hey, if you don't want to boil the water, why don't you turn the burner down? It's always been about the large intestine, the holy grail of everything. Holy crap, holy large intestine.
I experienced...
And guess what? 1 second. I don't mean to cut you off. Who's got it? The mic. Okay, 1 sec. So, brain fart. Go ahead. It'll come back to me.
Said I experienced exactly that with my 4-year-old daughter. She had a fever.
Can you come here and man this, please, so we can turn it around so they can see? If that's already faced, let them be able to see as well.
Yeah.
Her and then back to me. It's okay, leave that. If you can just do this. Thank you. That should have been done earlier. Okay.
My 4-year-old daughter had a fever of 106 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, your 4-year-old daughter had a fever 106. 106. Now most parents have already did the children's Tylenol. Why don't you do your homework on that, please?
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, wow, she's hot. So I did her temperature and I was like, okay, an enema. And I did like a cup of warm water with the tummy love, and within 20 minutes, she had like the largest bowel movement ever, and her fever, she was like normal. I was like, wow, and she felt so much better. She's like, thank you, mommy, because she actually woke up like shaking, and I like took a deep breath and just calmed myself down. I'm like, I know what to do. And it was amazing. And she's only actually ever had 2 fevers, dealt with them the exact same way.
And she'll never have a fever again if mommy teaches her to let go on an emotional level, and if mommy says, listen, every time you go to have a bowel movement, you show mommy or daddy or whoever's with you, okay? Understand. Computer printout. Your yesterday is going to be in the toilet. So, you know what? Hey, you know what? I can read a horoscope. Can you? Yeah, I can. After you take a good dump, I'll tell you how your day before was. The reality is this: if we've got to let go on an emotional and physical level, and in your manuals, like everybody who takes a Perfect Day consult, they have the most complete guide of what poo should be. Okay? If you want to become number 1 at the art of number 2, when you take a Perfect Day consult and you take this course, you've got the most... Okay, I would love to be challenged on this, but everybody's getting the most powerful manual to take massive personal action as a practitioner or as a patient wanting to become your own practitioner for your family. That's what this thing has done. It's over 40 years of my effort. And understand something. We do not need doctors. We do not need Daryl. You do not need me. You need you to show up and grow up and stop freaking out. And when your daughter, your son, no matter what age, has a fever, go like this. First thing you're going to do is go 3, 2, 1. We got this. Okay? All right? And then you're going to open up the back door, because guess what? Picture it. When you sit down, this is the burner. Turn the burner down by using some logic. And understand, when you get the cork out, okay, if I'm in the tub, what's the easiest way, okay, to get rid of the water? And we'll call that inflammation in the body. Should I get a cup and just cup it out and put it in the toilet? Or should I just pull the cork out and let it drain from the bottom up? And how many people know, okay, that as soon as you do an enema, okay, that is the main regulator of metabolism for the whole body is the large intestine. So anyways, do you want to know another story? You can go back and watch this video. It's on YouTube or somewhere. And this was when I was in Kelowna a year and a half ago. This mother, okay, and father came on, and their baby had eczema on 90% of its body. And we won't get into why, but it was antibiotics, antibiotics, and antibiotics, okay? But the reality is that within 6 weeks of guiding this family, 6 weeks, guiding this family, the eczema was gone. Now they didn't do one little enema on the baby. They did a little enema every day until and the mother started doing what? The black diamond, the black gold, daily cleansing tea, because the baby was the end product of mainly Mummy. And then Mummy went on the perfect day diet. They got rid of all inflammatory stuff. 6 weeks, 6 weeks. And it shouldn't have taken that long for a baby to turn around, because it's what got under your skin, okay? What got under your skin. Everything is emotional and everything is physical, but understand this. Why don't you just, next time you have a fever, scream and holler, yell for the husband, grab the child, run like hell, okay? Because when you run like hell, guess what? You're gonna feel like you're in it, to the car, drive like a maniac, go sit in an emergency for at least an hour with the baby in a fever, okay? And stress the living crap. That trauma drama will make the fever go higher and stay longer, because the baby's gonna think they're dying. How about the next time that you actually think that your children are dying, that you put a smile on your face and go, I got this. Because when you smile and you stay calm, they know that you got this. How did it feel when you were a child and your mother, your father lost it when you fell and off the swing? Even if you broke your arm, no matter what you did, the first thing you do when you're sick is you go like this to mom. And mom goes, we got this. And that's what you should do. And if you did that, the baby goes, we got this? The only reason why babies are so fearful is because parents are. We have entered into what we call the harvest. Not 9 out of 10 parents, but 99 out of 100 parents, okay, are taking their children off to the butcher. And you could say I'm a drama queen, but how am I going to crack the coconut? How am I, king, I'm not going to pick on women. How am I going to crack the coconut? Unless I do the same thing, a little bit of shock and awe. Because they do call it a what? An aha moment. When you get an aha moment knowing that a fever is natural, inflammation is natural, water retention is natural, pain and stiffness is natural, because your body's trying to talk to you, but you've never learned body talk. The most important language of your life is called body talk. When you start doing perfect day consultations, like we do about 30 to 50 a week. When you start doing them, you'll start showing people how they can finally take their life back. Do you know what you've done for them? Do you know what it's like not to walk on rice paper, thinking you're stupid, and then thinking that the medical system, if they can't figure it out, then how could I ever? When they can never or will ever be allowed to figure it out, because it's all about sales. Everything is about sales. So I'm going to tell you right now, you need to sail on. Become your own sail and sail on. Any questions about fever or anything that we talked about? Or are we good? Are we good? All right. So let's take a break and we're going to come back and we're going to do one-shot therapy on the body. Then we're going to go through the 12 loving steps. Okay? And then let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Thanks for joining us.